So you've done it. You've sourced the data, you've engineered the features, and you've built this shiny new AI model. But you're not done. Not even close. In fact, the single most important step, the one that really decides if your project is a success or if it just fizzles out, well, that's about to begin. Welcome to the AI Checkup.
This quote right here, it really hits the nail on the head. You see, model evaluation isn't just some final chore you tick off a list. It's the absolute core of a successful project. And treating it like an afterthought, that's probably the #1 reason so many AI projects fail to deliver on their promise.
We hear this story all the time. A model looks absolutely perfect in the lab. The numbers are great, but then it gets deployed into the real world and it just underperforms. Or even worse, it fails spectacularly. Why? Almost every single time, it comes down to a gap in evaluation. The model was just never really battle-tested for the chaos of the real world.
Okay, this is the question that cuts through all the technical jargon. I mean, we can get so lost in metrics like accuracy and precision, right? But look, if the model isn't actually solving the core business problem it was built for, then what's the point? It has no real value. This one question changes evaluation from just a data science task to a critical business function.
So, to answer that big business question, we've got to get specific. These questions right here, they help us translate how the model is performing technically into its real-world business impact. It's not just about is it right or wrong. It's about the cost of being wrong. Answering these is how you stop just tweaking code and start managing real business risk.
Think of this initial evaluation as your model's first big test. It's like a comprehensive health check. Before we let our AI athlete out onto the field, we need to be damn sure it's fit to compete. We have to know exactly where its strengths and, more importantly, its weaknesses are.
Now, the impact of these two types of errors, it changes everything depending on the business. Let's say Coca-Cola, for example, moderating their social media. A false negative, meaning failing to flag some really inappropriate content, is a brand nightmare. They would much rather have a false positive and accidentally flag something that's totally fine. But now think about NASA, predicting when an aircraft engine needs maintenance. A false negative there, failing to predict a part will fail, is, well, it's catastrophic. The stakes are completely different, which just proves your valuation has to be tied directly to your business context. Okay, so your model is launched. And it's working great. Job done, right? Time to celebrate? Not so fast. Every single AI model faces this inevitable challenge. It's called drift. And this isn't a sign that you built a bad model. It's just a natural thing that happens because the world changes. You know, just like a star athlete's performance can start to slide over a long season, a model's performance will decay over time. So the first type is data drift. This is when the real-world data your model is seeing every day just doesn't look like the data it was trained on anymore. You know, customer behaviors change, markets shift, things happen. It's like the rules of the game have literally changed, but your model is still out there playing by the old rulebook. And well, the direct result of data drift is, you guessed it, model drift. As that input data changes, the model's predictions just get less and less accurate. Its performance tanks. And suddenly, that super valuable tool you built becomes unreliable, and it starts making mistakes that can cost your business big time in money, customers, and trust.
But it's not all doom and gloom. We can absolutely fight back. The solution to all this drift is a proactive maintenance plan, and at the heart of that plan is retraining. Just like an athlete has to adjust their training to stay at their peak, our AI model needs to be constantly updated with new data to stay relevant and accurate.
This leads to the million-dollar question for any team working with this stuff, right? How often should we be retraining? Daily? Monthly? Once a year? The real answer, of course, is it depends. But there are two main strategies that can guide you. Okay, so your first option is retraining on a regular schedule. A periodic basis. This is perfect for really fast-moving environments, think e-commerce or finance, where the data is just always in flux. The second approach, which is often way more efficient, is using performance triggers. You basically set a performance baseline, and if your monitoring shows the model ever dips below that line, bam, a retraining pipeline automatically kicks off. But no matter which strategy you pick, you have to manage your expectations. And this number is a huge reality check. Retraining isn't just about pushing a button. No way. The 80% rule is a reminder that the vast majority of the work, up to 80% of the entire effort, isn't even the model training part. It's all the stuff that comes before, preparing, cleaning, and labeling all that new data. So you have to budget your time and your resources for that, because retraining is really a continuous data management job. And all of this brings us to the ultimate checkpoint. After all the tests, all the error analysis, all the planning for drift, you face the final decision: go or no go. And I want to be crystal clear, this is not just some technical sign-off. This is one of the most critical business decisions in the entire project. Now, here's the most important thing to take away from all of this. A no-go decision is not a failure. In fact, it's a huge success. It's a smart, strategic choice that prevents a flawed model from getting out there and causing real-world damage. You should think of it as a valuable chance to loop back, to fix the root of the problem, and to make the entire project that much stronger. And this loop back idea is what makes evaluation so powerful. It's like a diagnostic tool. It doesn't just tell you that there's a problem, it tells you where the problem is. Are your results poor? Okay, loop back to model development. Is the data not quite right? Go back to data prep. Is there a big mismatch between your training data and reality? You got to go back to data understanding. And most critically, if the model isn't hitting the right business goals, you have to go all the way back to square one and re-examine the business objective itself.
So I'm going to leave you with one final critical question that you should be asking about every single AI model you have running in production. Is that model actually delivering value, or is it just a ticking clock? Because without continuous evaluation, you honestly don't know. The only way to make sure your AI is an asset and not some hidden liability is to make evaluation a permanent, central part of your entire strategy.